day. This is Miss Tabassum. Today I'm here to revise direct and indirect speech. So let's get started. There are two ways of reporting the words of a speaker. Thus, speech may be classified into two types: direct speech and indirect speech. Here goes the definitions. Direct speech involves quoting the exact words uttered by the person within inverted commas or quotation mark. Whereas, when the words spoken by a person are reported by someone else in their own words, it is called indirect speech. Let's understand it with an example sentence. So here it goes. Tushar said India is playing extremely well. Remember, direct speech is put within inverted commas. A comma is used to separate the direct speech from the rest of the sentence. The first word of the direct speech begins with a capital letter. The verb used to introduce the direct speech is called the reporting verb. The sentence put within inverted commas is a reported speech. In indirect speech, it will be Tushar said that India was playing extremely well. Remember, indirect speech is not separated by a comma and it is not put within inverted commas. Difference between direct and indirect speech. In direct speech, the actual words of the speaker are put within the inverted commas. The first word of the reported speech begins with a capital letter. The reported speech is separated by a comma from the reporting verb. In indirect speech, inverted commas are not used and the reported speech is generally introduced by the conjunction that. The comma separating the reporting verb from the reported speech is removed. The tense of the reporting verb is never changed. The question mark and the mark of exclamation are not used. Interrogative, imperative, and exclamatory sentences are put as statements. Let's see how to convert direct speech into indirect speech in assertive sentences. Assertive sentences in the indirect speech are usually introduced by the conjunction that. Example, they said to Anuj, "You are a brave boy." Indirect speech, they told Anuj that he was a brave boy. The verbs tell, inform, remind, and assure always take a personal object after them. Hence, the form said to me is changed generally into told me and sometimes into informed me, reminded me, or assured me as the sense may require. Example, the teacher said to me, "I have never seen such a lazy girl as you are." The teacher told me that she had never seen such a lazy girl as I was. All nouns and pronouns in the vocative case in the reported speech are turned into the personal objects of the reporting verb. Example, Ramesh said, "Sister, you are late today." Ramesh told his sister that she was late that day. Conversion in interrogative sentences. In reporting a question in the indirect speech, the reporting verb is changed to asked, inquired, demanded, etc. Whether or if is used after such an introductory verb whenever the direct question admits of one of two answers, yes or no. The note of interrogation, which is placed after questions in the direct form, is replaced by a full stop. If the question begins with an interrogative pronoun or an interrogative adverb such as what, which, when, whose, who, where, how, and why, the same word is used in the indirect speech to introduce the words spoken by the speaker. Let's see some example sentence. He said to us, "Are you going away today?" He inquired of us whether we were going away that day. He said to me, "Do you know the way?" He inquired of me if I knew the way. She said to me, "Why did you write to me such an insulting letter?" She demanded of me why I had written such an insulting letter to her. Conversion in imperative sentences. When the direct speech is an imperative mode, the reporting verb say or tell is changed to some verb expressing a command, advice, or request. Command, order, command, bid, tell. For advice, advise, urge. Request, request, ask, desire. Entreaty, beg, pray, entreat, implore. If it is a proposal, then suggest, propose. For prohibition, forbid. The imperative mood is changed into the infinitive. The rules for the change of pronouns are to be observed. That is generally not used. If it is used, then should is placed before the imperative instead of to. When let in the direct speech expresses a proposal or suggestion, you may use should and change the reporting verb into propose or suggest. As in example, he said to us, "Let us have some coffee." He proposed us that we should have some coffee. When late does not express a proposal, it should be changed into might or might be allowed or into some other verb according to the sense. He said to his friends, "Let me study, please." He requested his friends that he might be allowed to study. Examples of conversion of imperative sentences to indirect speech. "Call the accused," said the judge. The judge ordered them to call the accused. He said to Lena, "Lend me your pen, please." He requested Lena to lend him her pen. Anand said to me, "Work regularly." Anand advised me to work regularly. The teacher said to the students, "Do not stand here." The teacher forbade the students to stand there. Conversion in exclamatory sentences. When the contents of an exclamatory sentence are reported, the reporting verb say or tell is changed into exclaim, cry out, wish, pray, confess, etc. The exclamatory form is changed into the statement form and the note of exclamation is replaced by a full stop. All interjections, nominatives of address are omitted or sometimes put as the object of reporting verb, but the force of interjection is kept by suitable adverbs or other expressive words as indicated below. Hooray or ha expresses joy. What? Oh, expresses surprise. Bravo here expresses approval. Alas expresses grief. Poor expresses contempt. Let's see some example sentences. She said, alas, he is dead. She cried out with sorrow that he was dead. The soldiers said, curse on the traitor. The soldiers cursed bitterly the traitor. Hooray, we have won the match, shouted the cricket team. The cricket team shouted with joy that they had won the match. Change in tenses in direct speech and indirect speech. Present simple becomes past simple. Present continuous becomes past continuous. Past simple becomes past perfect. Present perfect also becomes past perfect. Will future becomes would plus bare infinitive in indirect speech. Can becomes could. Have to becomes had to. Imperative in direct speech becomes to infinitive in indirect speech. In the reported speech, the words expressing nearness of time or place are changed into words showing distance. Now in direct speech becomes then in indirect speech. This becomes that, these, those, today, that day. Yesterday becomes the day before or the previous day. Tomorrow, the next day. Tonight, that night. Here becomes there. Ago becomes before. Last night becomes the previous night or the night before in indirect speech. Come becomes go. That's all for the day. Wish you all a wonderful day ahead.